Celsius. 68, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too bad. Like a moron, I'm still wearing my insulated. But I got the sleeves rolled up, right? That matters. So, after yesterday, just feeling bleh. Still feeling a little bleh today. But I thought, I just do something. Grass is still a little wet to mow. It hasn't really dried out. We had a good rain last night. But I thought, I'm going to pull the frame mounts, the motor mounts off the frame of the car here in the garage. Get them off. You know, it's kind of a pain, but you got bolts run into the frame channel, so you got to get tools up in there to hold them. And I pulled the first one off, and it's probably sitting out there, and it's been cracked and welded and cracked again and re-welded, and now it's got another crack running in the middle of it. So, garbage. We'll sneeze. Bear with me. It's not the virus. So, yeah, the other one doesn't look much better. So, I don't know what the ones look like on the car out at Kevin's place. Next weekend I'll be cruising out there, I think. At least for a day. Probably 2 throughout the week-ish. So I'll probably work on pulling those off. I just looked up in the catalog, and I want to look up in one, OPGI. I don't have my year 1 catalog handy. It's got it around somewhere. I can't find it right now. That's $100 for those things. And if I got a set, if I can get 2 good ones out of the 2 cars, I just clean them out, because it's a bracket that bolts to the frame, and then your rubber motor mount that attaches to the engine bolts to that. Now the rubber portion, those are about $30 for a pair. Got the steel, you know, and then you bolt to that. It's got the rubber isolator inside. So I'm going to need at least 1 good set of the frame side. So I'll check what we got out at the other car. But I think these, yeah, I'm just going to pull them in. Let me go see if I can grab the one. I'll be right back. Yeah, she's, and it's got a great big hole in the middle, and it's cracked and broken, so it goes up against the frame like such. Your other bout mount comes down here, goes through this hole, but this one has been welded. I don't know how well the light's doing here, but you can see the crack is running through it again, so it's got a big hole in the middle, so I don't know if that's rust or if they burned through. Got a big chunk of slag down there, so I think they probably just burned through it. So this one's garbage. The other one does not look much better. I've got 1 bolt still holding it on. Actually, I got to get in there and figure that out. But I thought, you know, just pop these, clean them, spritz them, get them ready to reinstall. But yeah, I need to go look at the other car. Kind of looks like the hole's wallered out too. Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know, they maybe just be wore out. Oh well. So, throw that in the recycle bin. I'm going to work on getting that other one off. And not sure what else we're going to get into today, but can't think of anything. Don't want to pull the wheels on the Jimmy just yet. It's what, 3:30. I guess I might be able to with the paint and whatnot. Those rear wheels are kind of a pain to get off. So I don't know if I'm going to get to that today. Kind of keep putting it off. But I got parts in the back of that truck, so it'll work for 1 trip out to Kevin's place and unload that out at his place. So let me shut y'all off, quit yakking, and see what else we can get into. And finish getting that other motor mount off. And wasn't full of stuff on the inside of the car, and I can't get this driver door open. I used to open, but the mechanism's all gummed up or something in there. The handle's busted, and then the pull rod inside, I can't get it to actuate and release. So if I could do that, I'd get inside and pull that headliner out and see how those bows are and just start getting those. Not that I need them just yet, but yeah. Still some good parts on this car. We'll transfer over to the other one. But, let me get back to work. Alrighty, well, in the interest of giving you all some content for the day, there's the crusty frame on this old in my garage. That's where the motor mounts sit. Both pulled off. It's pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned any of this. But go back on a previous video. There's the, of course I show this on the other car out there too. There's the factory control arms and drum brakes. And now Kevin's got a buddy who supposedly has just the front frame from a early 70s Camaro. And I told him to try to get that from that dude and see if we can't get the spindles. So if I decide to do anything with this one, I can do the same disc brake conversion. I'll have to get new upper control arms, but oh well. So we've already got our new pitman arm on the other car. We got our new, what do they call it, center section. We got our new pitman arm, whatchamacallit, drop link, idler doohickey thingamajigger. I'm waiting for the tie rod ends, the inner tie rod ends. I got the outers. I have one, you can see here, I have one adjuster sleeve. That's how you do your toe in and out. Now these are factory. You can see how the ball joint, or the grease fitting sticks out. The new ones, they stick towards the frame. So I guess you're supposed to try to find some 90 degrees to get them to angle down so you can grease those fittings. But then sway bar. This is a little one, factory front sway bar. I don't know what that is. 3/4, 7/8, something like that. It's below an inch. You know what? We got calipers. Let's take a quick little walk over here. Let's do a measurement on a factory front sway bar. I think it's a 7/8. If I can find them in this whole mess. There they are. Just putting a battery in it. Tabs are due on this thing next month. I gotta get that going. Also due on Cletus too. Need to figure out what I'm gonna do with that truck over there. So of course these are right-handed and I'm a lefty, so I'll have to do this backwards for me. Get through all the grease and grime. 24.13 millimeter, 0.95 inch. So it's a 1 inch, okay. Or 61 64ths. Probably not seeing it all there. That's what it is in an inch. 0.95. So yeah. Drum brakes. Yeah, we've already got the new links for the sway bar. The sway bar, I'm thinking, is going to ship out this week. Well, they wedged something in there to stiffen up the front too. Twice. I got one there and one up top. Huh? You do that on this side? Not that I can see. What are you guys seeing? Doesn't look like it. So you know what they were doing. You know what they were doing. The frame cracked. and I've shown this before, this frame, where's it at? Right there. You can see the crack. So it's lifting the front end up, which caused this side to drop. So the car was probably sitting down on the front, so they stiffened up that front corner to try to raise it a little bit. And then there's all the battery acid damage. So the car out at the brother's place, at Kevin's place, this side is damaged. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze again. It's not the virus. But this corner is good. The car out at Kevin's place, this side of the frame is good, but this one is, I mean, just gone. Very thin, rotten, eaten away. It looks like they had a tow hook attached there at one point, maybe trying to straighten it. Now the crack we can weld. Kevin's got that good welder now. So we can touch that up. Drill a hole at the bottom of it if it hasn't already, and maybe even put a chunk of steel on there to reinforce that. But I'm thinking, because this is not really structural, I mean it supports the radiator support, but it's not, you know, body mounts and whatnot. So I'm wondering if we don't do like a 45-degree cut right here by the gearbox. Don't know if I'd trust going behind the gearbox mount, but we do the same thing and take a chunk of that other frame off and weld it onto this one. And then that would make this frame at least usable, as long as it's not twisted. But I don't think it's twisted, but check, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but see how much it's moving? This car's on jack stands all the way around. That's what these frames are known for, being pretty, they call them the wet noodle. They're not really rigid, that's why I boxed the other one. But if I do anything with this one, I don't know, we may box this one, but that's going to be a pain. Clouds are moving back in. It's supposed to be dry till Tuesday. But yeah, if you remember, geez, what's it been? 8 years or something like that? When I did that other frame with my buddy Ben. Bought that frame out of an actual restoration shop. They use it as a jig for doing the body work on the GM A-body cars. Chevelles, Buick Skylarks, Pontiac Tempest, GTO, old Cutlasses. They're all essentially the same frame. Minor differences. But yeah, we just had the frame, nothing else on it. So we were able to get in there and take the paint off, clean up a little bit of rust all the way around. So good stuff. Alrighty, on to other things. Ooh. So I went ahead and degreased everything just to see how bad things were. It turns out that driver's side motor mount is not cracked. It was just so caked up with grease. But here's a close-up of the passenger side. You can see it's even offset. And the globs and the hole. Yeah, and it's still cracked through on this side. So that was good thing we looked into that. The other side looks good. That's how it should look. Kind of hard to tell on my screen. Hopefully the lighting's alright. But got all the lights on in here. So looks good, except for, I think these holes are a little wallered out. I don't know if you can tell, but they're not. They should be kind of oblong, oval shaped. And this one you can see galled metal where it's been pushed. And the back side, it's a little bit taller. This one here, the front side's a little bit taller. So I think they're wore out. I think the smart thing to do is just go ahead and get new ones. I'm not going to jump online and order them just yet. I'm going to go ahead and pull the two off the car out at Kevin's place and just see how they are. It's just not, I mean, once you figure out how to get in there with your tools. And I actually used my junkyard toolkit set that I use out at the junkyards. I didn't get it from a junkyard, but it's got everything I need to get in there. So we'll go ahead and grab those. But if they're wallered out on the backside here as well, then I think it's just going to be a smart thing to do. Just going to be get new ones. I mean, may as well. Everything else is new on that frame, except the rear axle itself, and even that'll be mostly redone by the time the car goes on the road, 20 years from now or whenever I get around to it. So the bolts, I may just, even if I'm doing, yeah, that one's bad. The head's all, the threads are all, either it's been loose in there or it's just damaged, because that's, see how the threads on the base there, that's the part going through the frame. That'll be showing up very well. They're all chewed up. That one's alright. That one's got a little bit on it. So it may have been they were just loose. I am thinking I'll just take these up to the hardware store sometime and just get new hardware bolts. I tried looking online for the frame engine mount bolts. Nobody makes a kit, so. But they're pretty, I mean, that's what came out, so I'm guessing that's factory. We'll see when we get the other car apart. But again, that won't be till next weekend. Do have to make a run out there Thursday or Friday before work. And leave enough time to go do a little wrenching and then get them back, and we'll see. We shall see. So that's where we're at for now. What else to do? Could cut the grass. It's starting to dry out a little bit, but 4:30 in the afternoon. Get some different boots on. These are my good work boots. I'm using them out here for some stupid reason, but they are comfortable. Actually, even looking into another pair of boots to wear when I'm not at work, so I don't chew up my work shoes. I can just get a pair that I can do whatever with. But maybe that's what we'll turn these into once they start getting chewed up a little bit. But, yeah. Should mow the grass. Just get that done. It's supposed to be wet all weekend after tomorrow. Don't need to wash the car. I need to wash the trucks, but I'll get a 3-day weekend for that. It's supposed to be dry, although I'm sure that'll change. Looking at the forecast a little bit ago, it said it's rainy Tuesday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday is dry. And then next Tuesday the rain comes back. So it'll probably be wet all weekend. Oh well. The joys of living in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, let me find something else to get into. Woohoo, what do we got? 7:49 in the PM on Sunday. I've been playing a little bit. Yards cut, front and back, edged up, trimmed, swept up the mess. We're good there. Got the motor mounts off, as you saw earlier. Got the hardware all somewhat dried up and whatnot. Probably go hit the hardware store here in the next couple of days and go get some new bolts. Bolts, nuts, and washers. I went ahead and pulled the screws that were holding the, there's a, guessing it's stainless steel trim piece on the bottom of the windshield on this car, because I'm curious to see how bad this one is. I had to drill 3 of them, two came out okay. They're Phillips head, but two on the driver's side were actually straight slots, so somebody's been in there before. But I haven't pulled the piece up yet. I think I'm going to need to pull the wiper arms. It looks like they go on just like the GM trucks. So actually, let me grab where I put it. A little picking tool. I can't find it right now. Hold on, good video, great content. Oh, it looks like I can see it in my eyes. There it is. This guy. So I'm going to go ahead and pause y'all, reposition you, and let's explore that together, shall we? Okay. Step over the frame. I keep hitting my head on the hardwood I got sitting over the wood I got up on the top here. Gotta be careful that we don't catch our fingers on this wire mesh. Got a lot of stuff up here too. I should have cleaned a little bit better, but nuts, bolts, shims, wood, all sorts of goodies. So let's see if we can get, guessing these come off about the same as the square body GMs, but I'm not, can't get in there to hook anything. Because they only pull out so far. Now the trim piece is tucked underneath the edge trim. I guess we got that one. There it is. Oh yeah, this one's way better. Mucho better. Even this trim piece is probably in better shape. I'll be hanging on to that. If I don't bend it in the center there. Yeah, this is all solid, good steel. A little crusty over on the corner here, but it's not poking through. This side seems to be pretty good. Cool. We'll get you in for a close-up here. Yeah, the windshield channel looks all right. Awesome. So this one's a good one. So there you go. And the other car, everything's all munched and mangled along here. This is all pretty good. I had to drill them off, so there's still screws in there. We'll have to get those out eventually, but little clips there for something. In the other car, this was all rotten away, which is your antenna, radio antenna. So cool. This one's looking all right. Have to work on getting the trim off, because I don't remember if we had that on the other car. I don't think we did. So if anything, I got some good trim pieces to use. Awesome. So don't have to worry about replacing this one. Now I bought the whole upper piece that fills everything, and you can also get the lower cowl, which is all inside there too. But let me get you back on the tripod. Ooh, well, there you have it. So this car, number one, has been in my garage for 10 years. 8 to 10 years now. So that's helped it a lot. The other car, it was supposedly sent to a body shop for body work, had a lot of leaks and whatnot, so I'm guessing it was probably a Northwest car its whole life. This car, also years ago, when I pulled what was left of the old steering column out of it, it was a little tiny scorpion. So I don't think we have scorpions in eastern Washington. So this car probably spent some time down in the south of the desert, which would help like around the windshields and whatnot. So other than that, I don't know any of the history about it, but it makes me feel good. I can clean that trim piece up, keep it in a safe spot. Don't remember if the other one was good. I mean, I don't think it was rotten, but I'll keep this one just in case, because if anything, I'm going to need it for this car if I ever decide if I'm going to follow through with the build on this one. Just trying to figure out some parts. So, alrighty. Well, I got to go start cleaning up a mess since it's 8 o'clock in the evening now. Sun's going to be down here in a little bit. Can't see it behind the neighbor's house, but the clouds have cleared out. But yeah, I gotta get everything back in the garage, back around this thing. I'm gonna throw these pants in the wash. Last good pair of jeans I got. Need to save them for work till I buy another pair. So we'll do a closeout here in a sec. Ooh, well, that didn't take hardly no time at all. Got everything cleaned up in the backyard. Because usually when I run the mower, I don't put it away right away. I let it sit outside and cool off for a little bit. I was thinking I needed something to fall on that hot muffler and light my house on fire. So everything's cleaned up out front there. Didn't have a huge mess, but gonna have to work on that trim piece a little bit. I want to polish that up and clean it and find a good spot to stash it. It's not very thick, it's very thin, but I'm sure they want an arm and a leg for one of those if I had to replace it. I have to double check the one out at the car at Kevin's place too when I go out there in a few days and see what kind of shape that one's in. If this one's better, I'll swap them. So, we've been working on the Pinto. I painted up the transmission. There's a rip-roaring little 2.3 liter 4-banger. Letting that dry up for a bit. Haven't touched that little S15 Sonoma kit. Gotta work on that chassis, get it heated a little bit and get the tweaks out of it. But it's still sitting there in its box ready to go, and still got a couple other kits that need to start ripping on. But other than that, I think we're done for the day. There's another slow weekend, but that's okay. 3-day weekend coming up next week. And that rolls into a 4-day work week. And then 2 weeks after that, I roll over my anniversary at Boeing, which means more vacation time. So I'm sure that I'll be a little bit shorter this year than I was last year because of the month off. I haven't heard if I don't think we're getting vacation for that time. So, and actually we're trying to figure out, I was talking with my local lodge president about union dues, because they took out dues last paycheck, beginning of this month, which would have been for last month, but per the, not the union contract, it's not the charter, Constitution, the union Constitution. It says that if you work less than half the days in any given month, if you're furloughed or laid off or whatever, then there's a $2 fee. And then the regular, $81 or $87 a month union dues is waived. Now, he says the union covered us for the $2. They took it out of the general fund and they covered all their members. But they still took the dues out. So, but he says next month we are probably not going to have to worry about it. They may be a month or two behind. Some people did work, most of us didn't. So I think they're still trying to figure out exactly who did go in and who has to pay the dues and who gets the waiver. So, but yeah, vacation coming up. I'm going to make a long 4th of July weekend. Like in 5 or maybe 6 days. We'll see. I gotta look at the calendar and decide. Because I think the 4th is a Saturday this year. If I remember right, so we're off Friday. So we'll just take Thursday and the following Monday off. I might even take Thursday, Monday, and Tuesday off. So 2 3-day weekends with 6 days off in between. But I'll have a new boss by then, so I need to make sure that I get those on the books. I usually take off a day right around my anniversary too. That following Friday, I think I roll over on a Tuesday this year. If I remember right, I don't have a calendar out here, so I'll probably take off that following Friday. Or I may not. Just push it through the month of June and bust out a 4th of July. So anyway, I think that's going to do it. I'm going to get inside, get this edited up. I still got to get those Jimmy videos going. You guys are caught up on the Oldsmobile project. Cat wants out. She's been in and out, in and out. Of course, the little one, I've got the screen thing that Dad made for me with the little cat access on the bottom, so it just fits into the slider, so I don't have to open the door. I don't have a sliding screen door anymore back there. Couldn't find one that was narrow enough. I got a real narrow slider, but she likes to go out that way, run around the house, and then come in one in the front door so she can go right back out and just makes laps. But this is the big cat. She wants to come out and hang out. She hears me talking. So, reminds me, I gotta get them into the vet again too, get their follow-ups for their shots. Tried calling a couple of times last week and just got put on hold, and then so I thought, oh, I'll just go online, because it says, you know, go online, you can set up an appointment. Nothing available, just absolutely nothing for like weeks out. So I need to try to call them again on Monday and say, hey, what gives? I need to get them in, because they keep sending me emails, get your cats in, they need booster shots. So I'm sure that'll be a couple $100 again. But anywho, enough rambling. Got a little bit for you this week, or today. Yeah, so I'm glad though it's not rotten underneath that windshield on this car. This one's a little bit more solid. If it wouldn't have had the hole cut in the roof for the sunroof, I might have been able to make do with that damaged quarter panel, but yeah, we'll fix the other one up. It'll be better than this one. So, okay, let's kick this video off and head on inside, and we will see you all. I guess next video will be the drive to work sometime this coming week. Shoot for Wednesday or Thursday again. That seems to work for me. Hopefully it works for you. So, maybe if I do a run with the cats up to the vet, I'll do something too. So, or maybe that'll just be the driving to work day. Alrighty, catch you later.